to Our Paramotor Nation. Paramotor Nation is sponsored by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding Training. iFly Indiana provides USPPA certified powered paragliding paramotor training on their equipment or yours at prices as low as $2,000. Lone Star Paramotor. Lone Star Paramotor offers foot launch training classes, trike training classes, transition to trike classes, and confidence builder classes near San Antonio, Texas. They are a USPPA certified flight school as well as an Aviator PPG Alliance partner. One Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. They love to share their passion for paramotoring and adventure. They also supply the world's best carbon fiber propellers to U.S. paramotor pilots at extremely competitive prices and with fast and free shipping. Wisconsin Flight Sports. It's their goal to provide a safe, affordable, fun, and accessible training program to individuals interested in entering powered paragliding. Fly PPG discovered powered paragliding, exclusive Midwest importer and distributor of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. All of their training is done on their private, highly manicured airfield located on a 45-acre farm. Fly My PPG. They are a USPPA certified Aviator PPG Alliance school offering personalized paramotor training, customized motors, and paragliders, service and repairs. ParaOrange.com. ParaOrange brings you quality products handmade in the U.S. for paramotoring and paragliding sports. On their website, click e-rebate and follow directions. Use promo code OPN for a 10% discount on all items. Wicked Wings logo. Customize your wing with a Wicked Wing logo today. Email Craig Taylor for more information. Make sure you visit Our Paramotor Nation at www.ourparamotornation.com. See all upcoming episodes, events, and so much more information. Check out our previous episodes, visit our store, and get some of our gear. Thank you for joining Our Paramotor Nation. And now it's time to begin the show.
What's up, everybody? Good evening. Happy Sunday night. Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. With me tonight, I have my co-host, David Wolf. He's the brain behind the operation. How's it going, Dave?
Oh my gosh, I'm in such a better mood since that work this week, unlike last week. I'm doing great though, buddy. How are you feeling?
Nice, man. That was a nice job. That was smooth. We practiced it a couple times, but that's much better. So with us also is Kate Bowen. I'm not sure where she went, but she was here.
I have a ribbon.
And our guest tonight is Kyle Matula, Power2flyUSA. Welcome, Kyle.
How y'all doing?
Good. And I see he doesn't have his sunglasses on, although we all agreed to have them on.
Oh, my bad. They're here somewhere.
Oh my gosh, we gotta start the show over again. He blew it with the sun.
About this.
Yeah, I told you about it. My bad.
We were talking about this in the pre-show, and although we're going through a tough time right now, here at Our Paramotor Nation, we feel that the future is so bright, we all need to wear shades. So,
amen.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you.
So, David, what's happening, buddy?
What's happening with me? I'm just, it's tough being me. I'm out there working, trying not to get closer than 6 feet from everybody else. But, I'm doing my thing, man. Doing my thing.
Yeah, it's rough.
You got to go fly today, right?
Flew yesterday.
That's right.
It was good. Yeah, it was good to get to fly yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't see any turkeys in your video except, you. But other than that, there was no other turkeys I could see.
I didn't see any. I'm a little concerned that we got a complaint from some hunters. So we got some local guys over there that know a lot of people. We're trying to find out what those areas are so we can stay away from them and not cause any problems for anybody. So,
yeah,
it's so hard to find an LZ. We don't want to lose one.
Nope.
So anyway, guys, our guest tonight, Kyle Matula. Kyle lives in Corpus Christi, Texas. U.S. importer
Kate.
of Power2fly.
Kate's here too.
That's okay. It's totally fine. I was trying to come up with my way to make a comment on how now it's so bright. Socially distancing is really difficult, especially when your local store is like the only local store and you're walking through and you're like, that's definitely not 6 feet. That's definitely not 6 feet. You're trying to pass a bunch of people. It's just not working out.
I was at Menards earlier today and they put X's on the floor at the cash registers every 6 feet. So you can't, where to stand.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I heard some of the grocery stores are doing that too, so that's pretty cool.
Strange times.
Yes,
Ours
it is.
is not doing that.
Yes, I actually had to do an appointment with a customer this morning. Yes, I work on Sundays too, and she actually has the virus. So we decided not to go out to her house. We are not going to her house.
Wow.
Probably a wise idea.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, did you fly tonight or this morning?
did I fly? No, we had very high gusty winds all day today, and probably not gonna be able to fly till midweek. And that's a question that we asked this past Wednesday night. You know, how did people feel about flying and taking up beds? I'm interested what Kyle has to say about it. I know Kate, you had a pretty strong stance on it, and I tend to agree with Kate's stance too, which is, you know, maybe new pilots, probably not the best time for you to go out to fly if you're not certain of yourself. But if you've been flying for a while and you're certain of yourself, you're comfortable with your skill set, your skill level, don't go flying in conditions that are probably beyond your conditions or trying to do maneuvers that are still new to you. Just go fly safely, have a good time, relax your mind, get your air a pee. Kyle, how do you feel about that?
You know, I kind of feel like it depends on where you live. You know, let's say you live in New York and it's a mess over there and there's no hospital beds, you know, or whatever. You probably shouldn't go take a chance. But here where I live, we don't have hardly any cases yet, you know. So I mean, if I got hurt, I could go right to the doctor. It probably wouldn't be a big deal. So I think it depends on where you're at.
That's fair. No, that's actually a really good point. I know that Florida, they're not letting people in with a Pennsylvania or a New York tag. They're quarantining them for at least 14 days before they're allowed to go further. But that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that, because I guess there's some pretty rural areas that it wouldn't really apply to as much as it would in New York.
Right. Yeah, over there, I think they're just about full. They're having to bring in like ships and different things for more hospital beds. So over there, you wouldn't want to go take a chance of breaking a leg or something if you got nowhere to go.
Well, that's for sure. You don't want to be in a hospital right now.
No. I've got several clients already that I've talked to on the phone that have loved ones that have the coronavirus. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
My mom.
It's going around.
Yeah.
Gary.
I'm hurt in New York. I know they're getting hit hard too, so that's got to be difficult for those who are flying out of New York.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're just not.
Exactly.
Well, I'd like to take a minute and talk about how I met Kyle. It's kind of how I got into paramotoring. A friend of a friend, I was into remote control drones and everything, and a friend on a Facebook group by the name of Zach Davis referred me, gave me Kyle's name, and I reached out to Kyle, and we messaged back and forth for, I don't know, weeks. Probably it seemed like months. I was asking a million newbie questions like every new student does, and Kyle was gracious and took the time to answer them all. I decided to buy my first wing from him before I even trained so I could work on kiting, and he sold me a wing, sold me my Dudek Universal. I'm still flying it today, as a matter of fact. And it was just a great experience. So I ended up buying my first paramotor off of him, the Power2fly, and I loved it. I'm on my second paramotor from him now, and I love the products and I love the service. So it's been a great relationship for me, and it's great to have you on the show tonight. So
it was fun meeting Rick. We were Zach was it Zach that was doing he was doing some kind of raffles, right?
Yeah, well, he was doing the drone stuff, and I bought some DJI products, some drones and stuff off of him, and I think he's up in New York, actually, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and it wasn't him that was doing the raffle; it was a friend of his that was, and he was donating the equipment or what have you. But it was an interesting deal, and I won a pretty nice, or a couple things. I won 3D printer and a drone from the raffle. Cool.
Oh, nice! I bought several DJI products off of him, and yeah, he's a good guy, but. And it's kind of all downhill from there. Kyle's been my guy. I mean, I'm in Florida. He's in Texas. He's on the other side of the country from me. But anytime I need something, I get it quickly.
Yeah, I've enjoyed working with you, and the videos are awesome. And my trikes have gotten a lot of attention because of Rick. So
awesome, man.
Pretty awesome.
I have never met Kyle personally. I've talked to him a couple times. I FaceTimed with him, and I gotta say, Kyle's the type of person that you want to know in this business. He's the type of person that I would gladly say, here's a guy that represents our community, without even knowing me, just calling him up and just saying, hey man, here's the issue I'm having with my Atom 80. What do you recommend? And he was quick to say, hey, look, let me give you some suggestions, and if that doesn't work, feel free to call me back. So I really appreciated him just giving of his time to help someone out who he doesn't have anything invested in. So appreciate that.
I really enjoy it. Selling these things, you know, sometimes worldwide and U.S. wide. I put together so many of them, tune so many of them, work on them, rebuild them. So a lot of problems people have, I've seen it a ton of times. So it's easy for me to answer questions like that, and I enjoy doing so.
That's awesome. And Kyle also runs a paramotor school, of course, over there in Corpus Christi. And you train mostly on the beach, right, Kyle?
Yeah, we have a beach location here, and I do share it with the Super Dell. So he comes down about every 4 weeks. But I've been doing that here for a lot of years. And a lot of people have the misconception that if you learn on the beach, you can't fly anywhere else. But I've had tons and tons of students that come in from everywhere, and when they get home, they have no problem flying, because we do have times a day, every day, where there's zero wind, and that's when I teach forward launching. So the guys leave here, they know how to forward, they know how to reverse, they, you know, whatever they need to do. So when they get home, they have no issues. So it's a misconception that if you learn on the beach, you can't fly anywhere. I find it quite the opposite, that people that learn inland come to the beach and they can't fly because we have 8 to 10 mile an hour winds. So they're just sitting there watching us have fun.
Yeah, a lot of inland guys aren't used to flying in steady wind like that.
Well, most of them can't reverse kite.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kate.
I was just going to say, you know, I've been flying for over a year now, or a little over a year, and I still haven't flown on the beach. And so I feel super disappointed in that, because I'm in the perfect position to go to either coast.
Oh yeah, you need to. It's a lot of fun.
Everybody had this invitation at the Palm Bay Fly, and we were all flying out to the beach.
There was no invitation.
Rick, you got an invitation.
Can you believe that, Kyle? They went without me. They just left me behind.
Everybody just took off and went to the beach, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, and then they talked about it the whole time.
And we're still talking about it.
They're still talking about it. They're still rubbing it in.
Like,
I
I know
wish I could have made it to that. You know, in hindsight, being what it is, I had time to come over there and just didn't think I would. And then by the time it was almost over, I was like, I could have went to that.
Yeah.
Rick, I know you have a bunch of
Maybe
questions.
next year I'll try.
I know you have a bunch of questions for Kyle, and there's a couple questions that are all relative here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to kind of put my own personal asterisks next to it. I'm not for very much talking or giving any stage to Dell Shawnzy.
I just mentioned he's here with me. I'm sorry.
With that being, no, Kyle, because someone had Fly Swamp had already said, could you ask Kyle if he has any stories of Super Gel training next to him on the beach? And I think someone else had said some of the similar questions as well. But I mean, you can, if there's anything you want to say or not say.
I'm gonna put it like this, Dell. Regardless of how crazy he is, which I'm not gonna be shy to say he's crazy, but he's a good instructor. One thing he does not do on YouTube is show when his students have problems. So when his students are getting drugged across the beach or have a bad landing or a bad takeoff, that don't get shown on the super videos. So, and I see it all the time. So his school is no different than anybody else's.
I don't believe you. That can't
Well,
happen.
I'm sorry, but his school is no better than anybody else's school. They have the same issues as everybody else does. And flat tops get broken, props get broken, trikes get crashed. So
You realize you're going to hell for that.
I probably will, for telling the truth. But, you know,
I do want to
but
ask.
he has a regular school like anybody else, but he's a really good instructor. He spends a lot of time with his students.
And I'm going to ask one question, just one question in regards to this, and then we can move on to real subject matter here. Have you ever seen the heavens part open and God come down and help train with him? Because he did train with God.
No, I have not. That hasn't happened as far as I've seen. He does. I mean, the stories of him causing trouble in places, you know, it's not necessarily him, but some of the guys that he totes around with them that fly, they do fly obnoxious, and it's already caused restrictions on us here in Corpus to where we're now zoned to one little spot because they land on top of people's cars while they're driving, they mess with people while they're fishing, they fly too low. So I mean, they do cause trouble where they go, not necessarily him personally, but his hoodlums that are with them, you know, cause trouble.
That's bad.
All right, let's get to some real questions, Rick.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, Kyle, you put on an event down there every year called Day Days, and I know you do some SIV training. You have a great instructor that's been with us on the show, Lori Kodakis.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually quarterly, Bay Days.
Oh, quarterly. Okay.
Yeah, it is quarterly. So every 3 months. And it really is nice. I got to be friends with Lori a couple of years ago. And he came down to do a personal SIV for a friend of mine in Dallas. And once they did that, I talked to them, and they said, we started discussing and thinking it would be great, for people to see how it would be to do an SIV with motors on, and Lori's done a bunch of them. I would say he's probably done 30 of them or so by now. And no telling how many SIVs he's done in total, even without motors. But anyhow, once we discussed it and thought it would be beneficial, we organized for him to come down here and everything. And hold on, I'm having a pause here, brain. Once we organized for him to come down, then we went ahead and started advertising it on Facebook and some other avenues. And we actually had a really nice turnout the first time. We had 10 students, and everybody had a really good time. We did all the same maneuvers that you would get in any SIV. And then Lori judges the pilots if they can go to do any advanced maneuvers. And in the first class, we had people do some SATs and some deep spirals and stuff, that was something they wanted to do above and beyond the regular SIV. And then so that class was great. And then we just had another one a few weeks back, or I would say wasn't a month or so back, a couple months. Anyway, we had that one, and we had 10 people again, and it was also we had a real great turnout. We had one guy wanted to do the SIV. He was from Canada, and he wanted to do the SIV on his it was a Hadron XX, and we were like, well, it's going to be spicy, but he went down twice, once on the beach and then once in the water, so I recovered him in the boat. But the Hadron does not like to recover if you collapse it.
Oh, that's it's kind of a polarizing subject, and as far as SIV, some people think that SIV with a motor is not a good idea. Some people think it is. It seems to me to make sense. I mean, if I'm a paragliding pilot, I would want to do SIV without a motor, but I'm a paramotor pilot, so it seems to make more sense that you would want to feel what you're actually going to feel if you have issues or do these things with the motor on your back.
And that's why we thought everybody would like it so much, is because we're paramotor pilots and we want to see how the wing's going to act if it collapses while we're flying it. You can go do an SIV without your paramotor, but that ain't telling you anything.
How much different is it with the motor on your back? That wing collapsing.
I have never done one without one, so I can't say that. But I think with the extra weight of the motor, you don't end up upside down or different ways. It's a pendulum, so the wing's lighter, the motor's heavier, so it stays above you. I think a lot of people get scared that when you do any maneuvers that the paramotor is going to be a big snag point, but we haven't had that issue yet. We've had 3 SIVs and nobody's ever had the motor be a snag point with the wing.
Do you guys have a set motor that you use, or is it just?
No, you bring your own. I have some for rentals.
That are just able to get totally soaked?
Any motor. I mean, most people I think would benefit the most flying on their own motor, but the last 2 SIVs I've had guys fly in, and when they fly in, they rent equipment. So they rent my paramotors, wings, reserves, flotation, everything.
Just makes me wonder if you should, if someone should come up with some kind of like a dummy motor, basically, that provides the weight, but it doesn't provide the motor, so you're not putting anything else.
Well, you're gonna have a hard time climbing up to altitude though with a dummy motor.
Oh.
And you'd still have to get towed up, and
there's no towing. And see, that's another benefit to the motor SIV is we get 2 or 3 times as many runs as you do when you go do a normal SIV, because we'll have the guys climb up. They'll climb up to 2,500, 3,000, and they can do like 3 different SIV runs before they get too low, and then they climb right back up. And we'll usually let them climb up 2 or 3 times in one run. So they get a lot of maneuvers.
I can see there's a benefit to that rather than waiting on your turn on the tow line to get up again.
Right, and I've heard some places, where they don't really get high enough where they can only do maybe like one maneuver, and then it's the next person's turn. So with the motor, I mean, we run through a lot of fuel, but they get to do a lot of runs, and everybody just has a really good time.
Right.
All right, worst case scenario, that the motor goes in the water. So, and I've always this.
We just happened to go on the water this last one. It wasn't bad at all.
So what do you do once it goes in the water? I mean,
I hauled ass over with the boat. You know, we drag him in, drag the motor in.
Okay.
And then we just kind of time out. So we took him out. This specific guy, brought him to the house, let him. It was kind of cold this time, so brought him to the house, let him get a hot shower. While he's doing that, we took the motor, we took the spark plug out, cranked it a few times, got the salt water out of the engine, dumped it out of the exhaust. And once we weren't getting any more water out from the spark plug hole, we dried the spark plug off, stuck it back in, started, just let it run for about 20 minutes, and we started using it for SIV again that evening.
But I mean, isn't the motor all flooded with water at this point?
It was until, like I say, we took the spark plug out and just keep pulling the string until the water all comes out.
Oh, flush it.
Yeah, we had the engine running again within an hour, and then we used it for SIV that evening again the next day.
Put it in a bag of rice; it'll be fine.
Yeah, the wing took longer to dry than the motor. We weren't able to use the wing again until the next day.
What about maintenance on the motor, as far as like salt water or anything like that you need to do?
I'm going to say that probably shortly. The engine itself is going to be fine, but I would imagine pretty quickly I'm going to have to probably replace the exhaust on that, because, you know, all that salt water got in there and that's steel, so it's probably rusting from the inside out right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Kyle,
that's part of it. You know, I have the equipment for rent. I charge enough for it that it pays for problems like that.
To support it. Makes sense.
Kyle, in the chat, Fly Swamper had a question. Are there any frames or cages that you wouldn't recommend for the SIV?
We don't let people use trikes. You know, that could be bad, you know, with the extra tires sticking out. But the almost all paramotors are pretty much equal. I can't see one having more snag points than the other.
So I need to do some more foot launching and get my launches dialed in before I come over there for SIV.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't care for it. I have no intention on doing acro or collapsing my wings. I fly low and slow, so you know, little small wing over is about as most as I do. So for me, it's not real beneficial.
I'm working on perfecting the digitally enhanced wing over and digitally enhanced acro. So I'll share that with you when I get it dialed in.
Yeah, when you get that dialed in, that and a footy, and I'm in good shape. You know?
Yeah, the footy stick.
Yeah, the footy stick.
All right, cool. And you have those 4 times a year. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's, of course, it's weather permitting. You know, we schedule it for you know, for January, then skip ahead February, March, April, May, June, July. You know, and then this time it got messed up, so we had one planned right now in May. So I don't. You know, because Laurie's stuck where he's at. He's in Europe, and I don't think we're going to have the May one. I think it's going to cancel. Yeah, but I've already got like 3 students signed up for that one, and we haven't even advertised it yet. So that class probably would have filled up too. I'll run it with a minimum of 5.
It's interesting. David and I have been talking about meeting up somewhere and doing an SIV together. So, Dave, that's something that we'll talk about, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, y'all would definitely have fun. I mean, we do a long weekend. We do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we SIV on Friday, we SIV on Saturday, and then on Sunday we have a European Classic competition, which is a lot of fun. We do paraboling, we do turn points, satellite turn points. We do the wall landing, a box landing, shortest takeoff, fastest takeoff. We do a lot of the European competition. The guys really have a big blast on that, and I usually give out prizes for the winners on that. First, second, third place.
Oh, that's nice. You know, I'm dying to get over there and fly the beach with you anyway, so.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have to make that happen. So,
well,
Kyle.
I'm going to see you pretty soon when I go pick up that machine I told you I'm going to go get. So.
Oh, I know. We're going to get together. We're going to get together when you get over here, man, for sure, and do some flying.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Kyle, I don't know if you want to share that, but you're going to be delving into some flying machines?
Yeah, I'm actually going to expand Power2fly. I'm going to expand Power2flyUSA to Delta Wing trikes, and it's going to be any size from ultralight to 1-seaters to the biggest 2-seaters. I'll have that whole line from Evolution Trikes out of Florida, and then also I'm going to have a couple of European companies where I'm going to have my ultralight trikes. They're somewhere around 70 kilograms, 140, 150 pounds. I see a need for it because all this time I've been training, sometimes I've had some girls that just couldn't get a hold of the wing. couldn't get the kiting, grasp the kiting, you know, and stuff like that. And then at the other end of the spectrum, I've had older people that just their reflexes are bad, so they couldn't brake check the wing plat quick enough to keep it from overshooting. And I think the ultralight delta wing trike is the answer to that. I mean, all there is the control bar. There's no wing setup. You got about a 15-minute setup on the trike, and then you can go fly. And that it costs about the same as a paramotor. You know, for the ultralight ones, I think it'd be around 12 grand, which is about what you'd pay for a paramotor and a wing. A little longer setup, a little more tear down, but you can usually take off and land in about the same space. So
it's nice. Some of those Delta wings, like the sub 70s, use similar motors. Some of them use like Viterazzi motors and Simonini.
Yeah, I plan on using the Monster 185, the Corsair Black Devil, Simonini Mini 2. Well, I'll let the customer choose what engine they want, but and basically they'll be choosing your engine off of what size wing they get. If they get a 15 or 20 square meter wing, you know, a little bitty motor just fine. Or if they want to get a little 12 square meter wing where they can fly 60 miles an hour, then they're going to need a bigger engine, you know, like a 250 or something.
Nice. We had a question in the chat from Julian Kate. Will you be carrying the PB or something like it?
It'll be something like it. It won't necessarily be the PB. There's already some dealers for the PB, and but it'll be more like what you said, the sub 70. That's from a dealer I'm looking at as far as importing.
Nice. I followed.
This is kind of slowed down a little bit because of the coronavirus stuff. You know, I tried to have a lot of this in effect already by the endless foot drag, and a lot of it's been put on hold.
I'm sure. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that I was trying to I have some paperwork here of the ones I'm going to be importing. The ones I'm going to be importing are from Ace Aviation. So if anybody wants to go look at Ace Aviation, those are the ones I'll be importing. And they have one called the Magic Trike, an Easy Trike. They have a sub 70. You know, so they have all several small trikes, all very nice little machines. But it'll be around the same price that Paramotor. I'm going to charge. I'm going to invest a lot of money in this because I'm getting my sport pilot license, and then I'm getting my CFI, where I'll be having a tandem machine that I'll be teaching on. So, but most people in the USA charge $200 an hour on Delta Wing trikes, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to charge just the same as I do for paramotors. So, $2,500. Once you're finished, you go solo on your trike, and you're good to go.
Nice, very nice.
Maybe a really dumb question, but is that still considered an ultralight?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was considered like a PP.
Anything under that 254.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever is an ultralight. Yeah. So when you call that one a sub 70 kilograms, that's 140 pounds even with a Thor 250.
Rick, there's a bunch of questions I'm posting up there if you want to start firing through some of them.
Yeah. Kyle, how about your experience with EFI, electronic fuel injection? You're flying some of those, aren't you?
Okay, I'm gonna say the EFI works good in some places and it doesn't work good in others. So here in Texas, it wasn't tuned correctly. So I was overheating engines, and I tried 2 different EFI systems, and both times overheated and pretty much melted the piston. So that here in Texas, it don't work. We put one in Kansas with Michael Holiday, and his runs phenomenal. So his is good. I hear a bunch of other guys have them, and theirs all run great. But where I'm at, it doesn't work. So I think some more time should have been spent going to different parts of the U.S. to make sure the tuning was correct everywhere, and not just in certain places. But I think Alex has a good. You know, it seems like a good deal that Alex has. You know, because I've on the internet, you can see where you can buy these systems for $600 or something, but they're not complete. Most people don't know how to tune an EFI or put in the programming or all that stuff. And Alex offers a bolt-on product, you know, that already has an alternator, the map's already in there and everything. So I would say for about 90% of the places, it works fine.
Alex also has a variety of dealers that he's working with that are available to help out.
Yeah.
Our very own Dave Ruff became a dealer.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So it's neat. The one I had here before it kabanged my motor. I mean, I got better fuel economy. I got easier starts. I got a more steady idle. I mean, it really was neat. I enjoyed having it. I couldn't have my engine at 550 degrees all the time, you know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda Anderson just hit my tip jar with a 20. Thank you, Linda Anderson. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thanks for supporting the show and supporting PPG Gorilla.
That's Rick's lunch next week. So
I didn't even know you guys had sponsors. I'll jump on.
That's lunch for 2 weeks. Yeah.
yeah.
Question from the chat from 9 to 90. Kyle, will you be putting that new equipment on your website, on the Power2fly website?
I will eventually. Like I said, that because of this coronavirus thing, I've gone pretty much orderless for 3 weeks going on now. So the money I was going to spend on going ahead and importing some of these and putting them on the website and all that, I've kind of had to put a hold on because I don't want to spend unnecessary funds right now, not knowing what the future holds immediately. So I'm putting it on hold for a little while.
Yeah, for sure. At least until we all get our $2,400 paramotor equipment checks in the mail, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I get my $1,200, I'm gonna for sure order all 3 of those and have them contained down here.
Yeah, I just forwarded mine right to you and just say, I'll hit you up with an order here soon.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Others in there too. I thought. Alex Diaz wanted to know: do you think we should do SIV training before doing a travel adventure?
Should a person?
Yes.
I've talked to Laurie about this to an extent, and he thinks that a brand new student out of school, that has already their PPG2 and they can already, their instructor says they can go fly along. He thinks that they can already benefit from an SIV because what the SIV shows you more than anything else is how your wing's going to react if you take like a frontal collapse, or any kind of collapses, or trouble. It teaches you that your wing's not just going to go all to hell. These guys are pretty surprised that they can fold their wing up into like a wad of paper, and then it pops right back open and it's fine again. So it makes these guys feel a lot more comfortable, but it also shows them how much altitude they need for their wing to recover. So they notice when they induce a collapse, how much altitude they lose. So that shows them that altitude is your friend, so a lot of us do like to be flying right along the ground, toe dragging, but that's your most unsafe place to be, is in that zone where you don't have any time for your wing to recover.
Yep, absolutely. So moving on, the next thing I wanted to talk about is the new Power2fly Acro team and demonstration team, the Is that right, Kyle?
Yeah, our idea behind the Paradevils team is really just to spread the word. I mean, of course, Tucker's already doing a great job of spreading the word on paramotoring and stuff like that, but I still think there's a ton of people out there that aren't on YouTube and are not on social media that don't know anything about paramotoring and would probably like to. So what we plan on doing with the Paradevils is hitting air shows. So we had a big air show in Tennessee we were going to hit this year, and that was going to be our first big one that we're going to go over there and do a show for. And then we were also going to do a show at Endless Foot Drag, and then we're going to continue booking all that. But that's also another thing that's kind of been put on hold. But it really is just to spread the word about paramotor, not to be showing off or anything, but just to show people what it is. We plan on having announcers at the shows, to maybe even doing some SIV stuff, showing people how the wings will recover if you fold them up, and stuff like that. And it's just more like a paramotor demonstration. We will do some pretty neat formation flying and some acro and stuff like that. But
where are some of the
more
people
to spread the word.
Who else is in that group with you?
Oh man, you put me on the spot. I lose everything. But
I'm sorry.
I have Nick and Noah Rashida. I have Colin Pike. I have Chris Christensen. That's 4. I have Dan Craddock. That's 5. I know there's 8 of us. There's 3 more. I'm missing people. Clint.
That's what I thought. So it's the same group that Clint's in.
Yeah, Clint's in here. They're
I mean, who?
Clint Chamalis.
Chamalis, yeah, that's his last
name. Clint's in there. That's almost everybody. James, my friend Jimbo that lives here close to me, he's in the group. So I think that's all of us. But it's going to be a real nice little team. And then when we go to these air shows and stuff, then I'll have other things there, equipment for people to come feel and touch and see and everything. So it'll be fun.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I think Sun and Fun this year has been canceled here at Lakeland, our big air show.
Has that been
Yeah.
officially announced?
I think it has. I'm not absolutely sure. Yeah, I think it's been canceled.
Yeah, and I feel like Endless Foot Drag probably will not go. And if it continues that far, then the Tennessee Air Show will also be canceled because I hear there's 60 to 100,000 people at that place. So,
yeah,
you know, we were even looking at Oshkosh, but I mean, all this is coming up so quickly. I think a lot of things are going to end up not going.
Yeah, Oshkosh is just right around the corner, really, every year before you know it.
Yeah, all of that is, you know, and then all these big shows, you know, in Europe are probably going to cancel as well. You know.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, I know you hope not, but I can't see, as close as all that stuff is coming up, I can't see it going though, you know, and it just seems to me like we're still seeing numbers climbing every day of cases, you know, so I just can't see them letting too many people get together like that.
On a totally unrelated, kind of related note, they canceled Jeep Beach, but they kept Bike Week up in Daytona, so there's hope for the really, really large air shows.
Yeah.
You know, one of the concerns I have right now is for all of the instructors and schools that are out there, you being one of them. I think I told you the other day I was praying for you.
I appreciate that.
Just because, you know, people are canceling with what's going on, and it's understandable. It's not for bad.
Yeah. I just got word. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sun and Fun has not been canceled yet. They're going to make the decision on April 17th, so it's not
Yeah.
canceled yet.
Last
Well,
time,
even Endless Foot Drag, he's not going to make a decision until, you know, probably somewhere in the middle to the end of May, because, you know, it's the first week of June. So that's not anything definite yet. I mean, a miracle could happen right now and everybody start getting healthy and the summer come in and this thing disappear, you know, so which that would be awesome. I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah, I hope so.
Florida Fun Fest is still on for 21, so that's good news. Let's focus on the positives.
they haven't canceled Sun and Fun. They pushed it to May, but I don't know how long that's going to stand for.
Yeah, and as someone just asked earlier in regards to Bad Apples, Tim said last week, you know, he'll make a decision in 4 weeks. So 3 weeks, we'll wait and be patient and see what the world looks like in 3 weeks. That's all we can do. So
I see where somebody asked, Bob Tails asked, why does EFI work differently in different parts of the country? And he asked altitude ? And that's exactly what it is. It's altitude and humidity. So here in Corpus, we have 100% humidity all the time. And I think that had a lot to do with it, but it definitely our elevation. Alex thought that when he tuned it for Florida, it should be the same in Corpus Christi, but evidently it was not. So
Yeah, I
had to touch that again because I'm looking at my text here and I'm seeing.
Hey, Kyle answers his own questions from the chat. How about that?
there you go.
Well, I see it here on the screen. So
Awesome. Yeah. Sun and Fun tentatively is May 5th to May 10th, but they're going to make a decision on that on April 17th, whether or not it's going to happen or not. So fingers crossed.
It goes on. I've been looking forward to Sun and Fun for so long.
Yeah, I love Sun and
My
Fun.
favorite air shows. We used to go there when I was a kid too, so I got to already kind of be around it before I got more involved in aviation.
Yeah, we've been there for years and years. My dad's been there for 30-some years and never missed one. And
It's cool.
stayed in aircraft camping for years and years, and then moved over to the RV section. So it'll be a real disappointment if it doesn't happen, unfortunately.
I'm sure they'll continue with something. They can't. I mean, then again, this is also super unpredictable, so you can't just assume what they're going to do. But I can't see them just flat out canceling. Like I can see them pushing it back a really long time, but I don't see them just canceling it.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. So, Kyle, you've had a few orders that you've been working on, and it's kind of quieted down after that.
yeah, the last couple orders, I have a dealer in Pennsylvania. His name's Joe Hall. He had a couple orders that had been in for a while, so I'm getting those delivered. Don Jordan in Florida had an order. I just got his delivered not too long ago, right after Palm Bay. And then I just picked up Lone Star Paramotor not too long ago, and he's had a few trikes and stuff. So he had a customer, an already experienced pilot, ordered that that Titan on the Calibri with it was an RS stainless steel with the Thor 250 on the Calibri. So I just finished that one yesterday. I'm waiting on a carburetor for it. So once I get the carburetor, I'll get it on there, tune it, and probably take it for a test flight. And then he's going to come pick it up, and I'll help him do the CG.
Yeah, that's Mark Perry, right? I just got a text from him. I didn't realize that was his. You sent me pictures of
Mark's gonna love that thing. It's gonna be a rocket. I mean, I can't even imagine. I've used that same engine on my Falcon trike. It's a big 2-seat trike, you know, that weighs 175 pounds or something. So having that same 200 something pounds of thrust on this little V trike is gonna be amazing. It's gonna
that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. If you guys know Mark Perry, he's friends with Ron Turan at Lone Star Paramotor. He's the one that sent me the prop balancer, and he sent me some line guides for my trike and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a buddy. That's cool. You sent me pictures that I didn't know it was his. He just texted me a minute ago with the picture, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for him. That's cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be a neat machine. I went and sat in it yesterday, just to see how it CG'd, on the Calibri, and it works perfectly. The only difference between it and yours is we use stainless steel for the RS instead of titanium. Russia, I guess, is kind of in a predicament right now. I guess everybody knows that most titanium frames come from Russia. So we are completely out of Titans, and there's no foreseeable future of when they're going to come in or when they're going to make us any. But if that's happening to us, it's probably happening to everybody that has their machines made there. So that's kind of disappointing. I've had people now still want Titans, and I'm having to push them to the aluminum RSs or the stainless steel RSs.
Yeah. What's the difference in the stainless steel and the titanium? What's the weight difference?
Yeah, I mean, the stainless is for sure about twice as heavy. It's going to be the strength is going to be there, but it's probably twice as heavy as the titanium for sure.
And when you're on a trike with a lot of power like that, that's not a big deal.
That's not going to matter. And I have guys. We foot launched the stainless steel machine. I mean, instead of 55 pounds, it weighs like 60. So it's not a lot of difference. I mean, 5 pounds, I don't notice.
Yeah, I'm going to foot launch mine at some point. I'm going to get there.
Yeah. Hey, you're trying to foot launch, and I'm trying to steer more towards trikes. I'm pretty much tired of foot launching myself. I see another question here. Let me hit that one.
We're the hosts. We're supposed to ask you.
Come on, I like this.
Give
all right, well, somebody get to it then. Let's go.
I do have a random question. It's going back a little bit. And I'm sorry if you already answered it. I'm just curious. We were talking earlier about how the differences between doing SIVs with just the wing as if you were paragliding or with the motor. What is your personal preference? I'm assuming you've done both. What's your
well, that's what I was saying earlier. I have not done both.
Oh, you've not done both?
No. So I can't tell anybody what the difference would be. We thought that it would benefit people that fly paramotors to do an SIV with a paramotor, and so we've done 3 of them now, and they've worked out great. Being in the boat, I'm always the boat captain, so I'm out there for rescue, but sitting in the boat and watching the guys do the SIV, it looks awesome. I mean, every maneuver that Lori talks them through, they do it perfectly, and it's just fun to watch. Watching that guy do it on the Hadron and his wing not recovering just scared the shit out of me. But
I can imagine.
well, and like I said, the first time, and Lori is real calm. The guy's having trouble, and it looks to me like the end of the world. And I'm like, reserve. And Lori's like, no, he's falling slower with his collapse than he would be on the reserve. So just let him come down on the wing. So yeah, the guy's a really great instructor. I'm happy to have him.
So I was starting to ask this earlier, and somebody cut me off. So my concern is for the instructors, the schools, with everything that's going on right now, because there's a lot of good schools out there, some smaller schools, some larger schools. We don't want to see any of these people out of business. We want to keep this sport growing. As Eric DeFore would say, we want to keep good instructors involved here. So kind of talk about what are you going through? What are some of the people that you talk about what they're going through? How are we going to sustain this storm that we don't know how long the storm is going to last? And what would you like to see done from people to help out a little bit too?
you know, as far as this Corona thing, like I said, I haven't seen an order for a while. It's been probably around 3 weeks since I've seen an order, maybe longer, for a paramotor. And usually I'm seeing a couple orders a week for paramotor. So for me, it's kind of scary, you know, not seeing anything from what I'm used to. And I'm sure it's not just me; it's everybody, you know. And in the schools, I've had students, you know, cancel now. I have no new people signing up. So it's frightening on that aspect of it. And I guess it just depends on how much money people saved up. You know, I try to have 3 to 6 months of money saved up for emergencies, which you hope there never is one, but now it seems like we have one. So I guess, you know, I'll go until the money runs out. That's about all I can do. You know, if that happens, in my past, I was a truck driver, a college instructor, oil field worker, directional driller. I mean, I can go back to something. Right now, the oil field is out of the question because those guys are all getting laid off, and that's bad too. But people always need truck drivers. So, I mean, I could go back to truck driving if I had to.
That's the other thing. You really take into consideration. I feel like a lot of people are doing some evaluation on the jobs they have because you kind of consider maybe getting a job that's not currently getting laid off or that's considered a non-essential. Like anyone who's in working in shipping, like or UPS or FedEx, it's like they're not necessarily going to be out of business. They'll continue to deliver products to, especially to medical centers.
I would say right now, Amazon and all these delivery companies are doing better than ever. I mean, everybody's ordering from home right now. I mean, I see the delivery trucks on my road 10 times a day now. So,
well, here's the news for you. Bob Tails says still coming as soon as this clears up, Kyle. So
okay,
still got someone in there. So good.
Yeah. Oh, I have some guys that are waiting. You know, so I mean, they might have canceled right now, but they'll reschedule and they'll be back. It's just a matter of getting through this. I hope they find a vaccine soon. I hope the heat kills it or whatever it takes to get us into summer and forget about this until
cold
season. Yeah.
Well, I heard back in November is what they're expecting is it'll start rearing its head again. So let's just keep praying. I do want to mention real quick here. Keep putting comments in the chats. Keep asking questions for Kyle. Whenever you do that, it's going to enter you into whatever drawing that we have next week. We do have everybody's name in a wheel that was on the chat last week. Tonight, we're going to be giving away a simulator reserve from paraorange.com. So Rick got to try that out through a rainstorm, which was fantastic. And he did great. A lot of people have been doing that. And but it's something that I feel really strongly about that every school should have and practice throwing a reserve. Don't make that first, and every person really should have one too. You should be practicing. You know, don't make that emergency that first time that you'd go to throw and you're all spinning around and you're discombobulated. Don't make it that the first time you reach down to pull something out and throw it. To pull
it really dealing with that and throwing that reserve really brought it to top of mind for me. And while I was flying yesterday, I reached for my reserve handle just to see if I could feel it, and I realized it's a little bit lower than it should be. I'm going to remount it.
I saw that on your video. That reserve looked like it was almost out of reach where it was hanging.
Yeah, it was too low. I have with my new motor, I have my harness set up. I'm a little bit higher off of the trike. I like that, so I have my full weight shift. I don't touch the trike.
You know, a lot of people mess up their Calibris by pulling that strap too tight and bringing their seat all the way to the trike, and you lose all your weight shift. So the way you have yours set up is perfect. It's almost like you're foot launching, you know. Yeah. So
I just need to raise my reserve up a little bit where it's a little easier to reach.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Rick, but ever since we started doing that practice reserve, I find myself in flights grabbing my knee, sliding my hand back, feeling for that. Are you finding that is that what you're doing as well as practicing that?
Yeah, absolutely. That was such valuable information, such valuable learning.
Yeah,
I think it's great. Yep.
One thing we do at Bay Days is we do a reserve repack clinic. So we'll hang somebody in a simulator, let them throw the reserve, and then Lori does a clinic on repacking the reserve, so everybody gets to see it being repacked and put back in.
I'm due. Yep.
A couple more questions came in there from the chat there, Mr. Davies.
I turned my chat off, so I wouldn't be trying to run the show here.
Thank you. I mean, you don't really need you know what? I think we could just all put our screens off.
Let's just turn our video off. It's all good.
There you go, Kyle. It's the Kyle show.
I'm not actually getting the same chat jargon. I'm only seeing the group stuff here. So
Fly Swamper. Do you know Fly Swamper?
I don't think so.
He's from Texas. I forget his first name. I'm terrible, but
Nickname,
he had a couple questions. He wanted to know what the best Tex-Mex restaurant in Corpus is. And the other question is any thoughts or advice on the Viderazi exhaust issue?
So, Tex-Mex, if you're here on the island, we have one called La Palma. So that's my favorite here on the island. So that's the one he'll have to check out if he comes on the island. Over in town, off of Everhart, we have one called Kiko's. So that's probably the best one in town. Now, what was the second part of the question?
Any thoughts on the? I'm sorry. Hold on. I just got a tip jar donation for your Donkeys Garcia for $24.99. Thank you, your Donkeys. The other question from Fly Swamp was any thoughts or advice on Viderazi exhaust issues?
So what I've seen so far, and I've already built a bunch of these now, is they put that other joint in there and then they redesigned the bushing. So far, none of my customers have had any failures. So I guess it's holding up. I've seen no failures yet, but then again, it's not been peak flying season. We released all these MY20s in the winter, so I don't think that anybody's been really using them a lot. So yeah, there's that exhaust is new now, but I think it's still too early to tell until people start flying every day again, and then we'll see if it's going to hold up.
Yep. JP Tulo asked, have you ever had to throw a reserve, Kyle?
No. I'm a very cautious flyer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, very, very cautious.
I fly like an old man.
I fly like an old man or like a newbie every day.
I did see a video that Rick Davies put out today, and he was doing some very serious freestyle on his trike. He was doing big time wingovers and spirals on his trike.
Digitally enhanced Acro.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do with cameras these days, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done some wing over low before, and it scared me when I thought I was going to hit the dunes or something. So that was the end of that.
Yeah. The extent of my Acro is I go up high and I do some gentle to moderate wing overs, and that's about it. That's all I aspire to do. I like.
The higher I get, the more cautious I get, because when I'm way up there, at 3,000 or 4,000 feet, I start looking down, going, man, that'd be a long ways to fall,
I don't like it up there. I'm scared of heights.
Yeah.
So no, one of the guys I fly with, Carl, he actually is scared of heights, and we'll go cross country. We'll be doing a 20 or 30 mile flight. He'll be 100 feet. I'm at 2,000,
Yeah.
But that's what he likes. That's how he likes to fly. So
I'm scared of heights as far as like ladders or radio towers or stuff like that. If I feel like if I climb up a ladder and, like a 16-foot ladder, I start freaking out, or paramotor, I take out skydivers, 6,000, 7,000 feet, and it don't bother me. But if I'm on a ladder on the roof of my house, it scares the hell out of me.
Same thing. I can't go up on a ladder. Hate it.
yeah, for sure. For sure. So never thrown a reserve, never want to. I never want to either. I hope I never do.
No, I don't want to at all. My favorite thing to do, I'm going to get me another drink, guys. My favorite thing to do is do tandems. That's my favorite thing, is just taking people for their first rides and getting their reaction. And that's kind of what I live to do. I like to go to the beach, or I like to go to fly-ins and take my big trike. And I just love taking people up, because they're usually just the biggest smiles and happy, and it makes my day. So
it's got to be a great experience watching people.
Tandem operations to me are cheers.
Cheers. So I had a question. Cheers. A question for Kyle from Jim CR120. What would you suggest the community do to identify and promote good instruction for the safe growth of the sport? So
a lot of people are naysayers, but I definitely think the USPPA has the right idea. They have a structured syllabus. They have a structured way of bringing in new instructors. With the clinics they do and all. The only thing I would like to see done is not letting people fast track. I see a lot of guys that are brand new pilots right now, and then they're trying to open a school next year. Because I know when I got my instructor, I had to hold my PPG3. I had to hold my PPG-3 for a full year before they would even let me take a clinic. So I had PPG-1, 2, and 3, and then waited a whole year and then took the clinic. And, you know, I've always been a teacher. I've taught people how to drive trucks, work in the oil field, you know. I've always been a mentor. So for me, it came natural, you know. So, but then even after I took my instructor clinic, I took a tandem clinic at the same time. I didn't actually get my tandem endorsement for almost a year later. So it took 2 years to get my tandem endorsement. And I'm seeing guys now that it seems like in 6 months, they've got their instructor, their tandem, I mean, all their shit. And it seems kind of fast. I don't think these guys should go from 0 to hero in a year. I think there should be more time taken on that, if it makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. These are the guys that we're trusting to teach people, to teach us, and to bring new people into the sport. So yeah, I think that they should have the experience and the time under their belt before they go out and do it.
A lot of hours, a lot of takeoffs, a lot of landings. I mean, you know, when I only had 6 months experience, I would not have felt comfortable at all having somebody running in front of me to go on town, or having anybody trust their life in my hands, you know. So
yeah.
What so you are USPPA certified instructor?
Yes.
Okay, so for those of people out there who say, you don't need these ratings, they're not, what's the argument for getting the ratings?
For me, it's just to be, you know, I mean, for me, it's just to be to have some kind of structure. You know, they're right under ultralight rules. You don't need anything to go fly a paramotor or go teach somebody or anything. I mean, it's just it's open territory. It's not a rule. I mean, the only thing I can say as far as the USPPA and ASC is they do have an exemption from the FAA to be doing tandems for instructional purposes.
Yes.
So if you're just Joe Blow, you can't just say, well, you're doing tandems, I can do tandems, because there you can get in trouble, and I'm one that will report you. You know,
I will say this, and it used to, from before I got into the sport, from my understanding, it used to be this way, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and probably I'm wrong, but some of the EFD, you were supposed to have a rating to go into EFD, right? You're supposed to have a G2, I believe.
At least a PPG2. And I think the reason behind that, and it was the same thing at in Florida, they used to have that one in front of on the beach. What was that called?
The beach blast.
Beach blast. Yeah, I think they required a PPG2, and I think what it is when they figure there might be 50 people in the air at the same time, that they don't want people up over there without at least a PPG2, you know, going up there and, you know, where you could get in trouble, you know, with that many people flying around.
Well,
at EFD one time, Michael saw like 80 wings up in the sky at the same time, and at least you want to at least hope everybody up there knows what they're doing.
Yeah, you don't want somebody out there that just left training and has like 10 flights or something, right? That's the whole.
And some of the people at Florida Fun Fest only had a few flights under their belt, and we saw.
And I would not have been comfortable with that. I would have wanted to stick around, hanging around on the ground drinking. I wouldn't even want to be in the air. You know?
Yeah,
I agree. That's what I did most of the time.
I was about to say, I'm like, I was surprised at the amount of people who flew, because my first experience at Florida Fun Fest was last year, and I immediately was like, nope. I would much rather be on the ground ready to help somebody than have to be
the worst thing about new people that I've seen is that they just don't keep their head on a swivel. So I've been flying before where I'm behind somebody, maybe over to their left a little bit, you know, and this person just all of a sudden just went in front of me. You know, they did not look. You're supposed to look, lean, and then turn, you know, and as far as I know, they were playing on their phone, you know, so that's the kind of bad thing is if you're just not paying attention to where you're going. I mean, it's not hard to run into somebody, and that's mid-airs are no good, you know.
There's blind spots, you know. It's like you go to look directly up, and if they're right above you, it maybe wouldn't matter as much, but it's like your vision only goes to about right here without you having to break your neck. So
I mean, not too long ago there was a instance where someone was above and somebody was below, and the guy below didn't realize the person was above them, and they hit the gas and throttled up, and their wing right in the propeller. You know, that's happened several times in the last couple of years. So people are not, you know, I guess when you're in the air, you just think that you don't need to pay attention to your surroundings, you know, and that's totally not the case, especially at a fly-in.
where people get hurt.
Yeah. So airspace can get crowded quick, you know. And another bad thing about fly-ins I've noticed, and this is a really big deal at EFD, is when people take off, it seems like their sole purpose after they take off is just to circle the field and foot drag the field, you know. And to me, if you take off and go fly somewhere, get out of there, you know, that you don't need to be
up and get the F out.
Nobody's going to be impressed that you can do a foot drag, you know. I'm not.
I'd be impressed if Rick Davies could do a foot drag.
He does. He's got the footy. Yeah.
He hasn't brought out the footy in so long.
That thing caught my attention, and I thought that was the best idea ever.
I'm flying. That's it. Next video, I'm flying with the footy.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it, if you didn't see that video, I have a shoe attached to a 5-foot stick, and I can carry it foot drag while I'm flying my trike. So we're gonna make it.
I do want to say real quick, I think Dave Ruff may be listening in, and he just popped in to say hello real quick. He had 4 flights today. He had a great time flying with Kyle O'Glee, and I know he's on his way home, but he wanted to say hello to everybody.
Trike Flyer, how you doing, buddy? Now he's trying to sneak back into Louisiana, or trying to sneak back.
He had video a while ago. I think he was in his truck. There he is.
There he is. Say hi, Dave. Take yourself off mute first. There you go.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, guys, I actually just got out of Louisiana. I'm back in Texas. Awesome times flying out at Gillum. Just want to say quick hi. Don't want to take up the show. Kyle, good to see you, buddy.
Hey,
and,
Dave.
I'll watch the show after the after show.
Yeah.
See you, Dave.
Anyway,
Thank you for checking in, brother.
You bet. You guys take care.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
I need to get one of those fluffy things from a microphone like you guys got. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. It's good. The dead cat.
You know,
Yeah.
I have one and I'm not even using it.
I like it because it covers up half my face. I got a face for radio, you know, so it works out good in my videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, David, perfect.
I don't talk.
Wow, you look so much better now, David.
It'd be cool to have one just for
That's funny.
call me. Everybody always calls me while I'm paramotor, you know, so I'm just talking all the time. So it'd be nice to have it for that.
Now Kate's got the coronavirus. We heard that.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Kate.
thanks.
Oh God.
Okay. I'm only slowly dying. Actually, kind of a sad joke. I shouldn't have said that. There's unfortunately actually quite a few cases near my hometown, which really, really sucks.
Oh, that's a bummer. I think everyone in the country is, well, obviously we've already all been touched by this in some way, but it's scary.
For a lot, it's still surreal. It's still pretty surreal for me until probably last week when there's, you know, mutual friends who are posting on Facebook about their friend or their loved one who they're just not doing good. I don't know. I'm ready for all this to be one big April Fool's joke.
Yeah, for sure. We were all together at the Florida Fun Fest, and like a week later, that flying would have never probably even happened, you know.
But
That timing was perfect on that one.
the good news is this, and Yankee Paramotor put this up earlier. It's been 14 days, so we're all in the clear.
Oh, thank goodness.
So there you go. I have a question for you, Kyle. There's a lot of people in our chat that are getting ready to do training, hopefully sooner than later. They don't want to be pushed back. So what would be your best advice outside of coming to train with you? What would be your best advice for someone coming into the sport? What do you see as the biggest challenge that new pilots have or new students have?
To me, the main thing for a student to learn, and this is why I love where I live, is wing handling. So, you know, there's almost no inland schools that I know of, except for maybe in Kansas where Michael's at, because, you know, you can see a fence 100 miles away. But so he almost has Laminer Beach wind there in Kansas. But to me, the main thing is wing handling. So, I mean, if a person can get to where they can reverse kite forward and backward, reverse kite, turn kite forward, and be able to do whatever they want with the wing, bring the wing over, touch the tip of the ground, both sides, walk left, walk right, forward, back, turn, all that stuff. Once you get to where you can do that, forward launching is a breeze because you know exactly what the wing's going to do, you know. So somebody coming into the sport, I'm not saying anything bad about any other school, but I think it does benefit someone to train where they can actually learn to kite. So to me, that's good. It doesn't mean come to me, but go somewhere where you can kite the wing. so many of these schools that can only teach for an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening, and the only thing they learn is, okay, run now, right brake, left brake, right brake, okay, go. And that works great. I mean, for most people live inland, that's all they can do anyway is forward launch, because they got 0 in the morning and 0 in the evening. But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more to it if you can learn to really get good with the wing.
We've all seen the videos of the instructors pulling up the wing for the person and trying to help them get it and then get out of the way and say go. I mean, that's just not.
I've seen that. I've seen where they pull the wing up for them and go, run!
Yeah.
So one of the things, I mean, and you tell me if you don't see this as big of a problem. When I'm watching videos of people making their first or even first several flights, I think throttle, being too nervous to hit the throttle and go. In fact, I even see them fly-ins. They'll get the wing over their head and they'll just slowly ease it up instead of just hit the thing, start running as hard as you can, and get the hell off the ground.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the instructor. I've seen this so many times, and it's like the student wasn't never talked to, you know. So when I have a student come here, it's not like one of those schools, you know, where they're training for 2 months. Usually when they come here, it's 7 to 10 days, and by day 4 or 5 you're flying. But during those 4 or 5 days, I mean, we can train here 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I spend a lot of time talking to my students, and I beat it in their head over and over. Look, I want you to learn how to roll on the throttle. So when they get up and they get the wing right, you know, I want you to roll, you know, so roll the throttle gradually all the way to full power and go. I talk to them about that a lot. I also talk to them over and over again about, you're going to feel the motor get lifted off of you, but that does not mean you're flying. So I don't even want you to even think about getting your seat until you're about 50 feet high, you know. So I drill that into their head, and we talk about that solid for like 4 or 5 days. So when the day actually gets there that we go fly, I usually don't have that issue. So again, I think it has to do with people having the ability to be teachers and be instructors, and the people that don't.
Do you think part of that is because I've seen some really good schools, and I've seen those students. I'm just thinking of a video I just watched the other day. They still have that nervousness of hitting that throttle and going. Do you think it's just too much information at once? They're trying to remember everything that they've learned, and maybe
it could be some of it of an overload. But I think, again, if you're working with your student every day, they're gonna know what to do and how to handle it. So to me, if you have somebody nervous like that, that's on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle, not going full throttle, I think that I'm gonna dare to say they had bad training.
Can you kill that dog, please?
Yeah, they're not gonna listen to me.
Okay.
There's a cat, and they're chasing the cat, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, can you let's just mute the dog. Is there a remote?
I have a little bitty one named Jake, and he's an asshole. And
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it is hard though, especially for, it's like until you get familiarized with your gear, the invitation to sit on launch is very welcoming.
Yeah.
And but you're right. It's a conversation that's like, listen, just whatever you do, don't take the invitation. Just decline it. Keep declining until your feet leave the ground. Just run into the sky.
I think another thing too is I think a lot of people don't use all the tools that they can to teach their students. So every one of my students, I take them on a tandem ride with me, all of them. So they get to go and stand in front of me, and I'm okay, let's turn, let's go. And I roll on the throttle, and I'm talking to them too. We have communication. It's like, okay, I'm rolling on, we're going full power, we're fixing to leave the ground. I have their hands on the brakes with me, so they get to see what it's like to flare, to land. So, I mean, everybody gets to go on 2 or 3 rides before they do it themselves. I think that helps a lot. So I think a lot of instructors need to invest more, in more tools, more stuff like that. Because there's a lot of schools out there where the person's first solo is their first time off the ground, and that's not good in my opinion.
Here's another question I have. So, we've got 3 different types of audience in our chat. We've got the people that have never flown that are getting ready to fly. We've got the people who just started flying and are relatively new, but they're getting better. And then we've got the very tenured pilots.
And we have the people that haven't pushed the like button yet. So if you're watching, please hit the like button. Thank you.
Apparently one person did not like it.
Where y'all, what is this live? Where are we live on? Are we also live on like YouTube or something, or where are we at?
So my question is this. When you and in my mind, and I'm sure there's many others, I think of someone like Ripman Ryden, or I think of what's his name, Yankee Paramotor, who are very tenured and they're very, very good pilots. What advice do you give to someone that's a really great pilot? How do they get better?
I mean, they're already good. They're already great. I mean, what are they trying to get better at?
I guess that was kind of a weird question. I don't know.
I mean, they're trying to get better at taking off, better at landing, better at tandems.
That's actually a really good question. Because when you come across a pilot who maybe is a little too proud of everything they do, that's oftentimes that's when you want, I don't want to say get stuck, but that's when you kind of get stuck in your head with where it's like, I don't have anywhere else to go. I'm already as good as it gets. I feel like the best thing to help them do is learn how to be humble and to maybe take a step down and learn how to maybe not realize that you're the best and know that there's always room to grow.
I don't think that there's any best. I mean,
That's
you learn. I learn stuff every day, you know. So I don't see how there's any best. I've heard people toot their own horn and go, "I'm the best tandem pilot in the United States. I'm the blah blah blah."
Well, that's what I mean. It's like when you have those pilots who have been doing it for so long and they are that confident in their ability to the point where it's like, okay, well, maybe
I'll just say that
complacency
will get these guys eventually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm not going to say any names, but I've seen Ripman Ryden's wall of shame of broken props. So I know he's a very humble person, but I'm not going to say, you know, who I'm talking about here. But he's a very humble person. He's a great guy. But he's also a very good pilot too. And good man.
I'm not going to say that I can give any advice to awesome pilots on how to be better pilots. I mean, if they're good, then they're good. You know, you just don't want to get complacent. You know, that's one thing I've learned. And then every once in a while we get in a funk. Like Kate said, I've been doing trikes. I've been doing trikes for years, and every once in a while I'll get to where I can't get the wing to come up straight, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I've had 200 great flights in a row, and now I can't get the wing to come up right, you know, and I start failing launches. I think it's like playing golf, you know, and having a hook or something or a slice. It hits you, and it takes a little while to go away, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I saw a good quote on Facebook or somewhere stupid that said, education is something that you never finish. It goes on forever.
It's one of those succeed till you fail so you can finally learn.
Yeah.
Right.
So do you ever find yourself whenever you do have those random times when you just fail launch after launch, not that probably happens to you very often, but what do you find is your issue? I mean, are you too much in a rush, or do you find yourself maybe too caught up in your head? Is it too much of a habit of your setup? Like what did you miss? What is your...
Every time it's happened to me, I don't know what it was. I mean, the last time it happened, my brother came down. My brother's never been up, and he brought his boy with him. So I took his son up. We took off like no problem at all, and took him flying. We landed. Then I got my brother in there, and I was gonna take him up. And I felt like 7 launches in a row to the point to where he's like, we don't have to do it today. Let's do it another day. And by then I'm so frustrated. I'm like, no, we're going to make this work, you know? And finally, like on the 8th launch, I got it to go, but I don't know what happened. I mean, and thinking back on it now, did I have one trimmer in, one out? Was it some stupid mistake? You know, did I have my A assist one longer than the other? I don't know. Something going on. I just don't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it.
So that brings up another question. Where's your thought point? Like at what point do you pre-flight yourself to where you go, okay, maybe I'm too caught up in the fact that I'm frustrated. Maybe I shouldn't fly. Obviously I'm missing something. Maybe it's obvious. Maybe it's not. Personally,
I won't quit unless I get my wing in the prop. I'm gonna keep trying because I know dang well I can do it. So I'm gonna keep trying, you know. So unless something gets destroyed.
I tend to be stubborn like that sometimes.
Yeah, I'm stubborn, especially like my brother's only here that day. I'm gonna take him up. We're gonna go up, you know.
Do you ever find that puts you in maybe a potentially dangerous position when you're not able to?
I mean, we're still on the ground, you know, and if we get off the ground, then you're as safe as you can be. But yeah, I don't think failed launches are any big deal because I mean, I wasn't having problems to where I was already at speed and it was trying to pull me over. I mean, just the wing wasn't coming up right, you know. So for me, there wasn't nothing dangerous or scary about it.
So we had another question in the chat. Jim Sierra 120 question for Kyle. How do proficient instructors hone their skills? How do they challenge themselves so they know their skills are top notch and that they're not getting complacent?
So a proficient instructor. So I always, I guess the thing is just you have to just be mindful every day that you're not getting complacent, you know? So if you have a habit, of doing something, you know, like starting a motor on your back, or if you do start one on the ground, I know that's a big no-no is ground starting, but I've been a mechanic since I was able to walk, you know, and I know for a fact that if the butterfly is closed, it ain't gonna run away. Every paramotor that's ever ran away, somebody was standing on the throttle, or the paramotor was on the throttle, or it was stuck under the seat. They squeezed it all the way. I mean, something was wrong. The carburetor is not just gonna go wide open if the butterfly is closed. It's impossible. You know, it's just not gonna happen. So, you know, so I mean, if you physically look at it, you know, if you sit there and work it and look at it and see that it's operating and it's on the closed position. If you have a clutched unit or even not a clutched unit, if you start it, it's going to sit there and idle, you know, and it's not going to run away or go full power unless you're physically making that butterfly open, you know, and but that's kind of like a complacent thing. So let's say I went out there and I stopped looking at the butterfly. That would be me being complacent or getting complacent. So it's all those little things that you do. Make sure you do the same every time you go out to the field, and don't change things. Don't get lazy, you know. Don't think that you're so awesome you don't have to, you know.
Yep.
That's the way I could explain that.
Yep, that's good. Okay, Fly Swamper. His name is Gary Marsh. Sorry, Gary. I know you as Fly Swamper, and that was it. But he had a question.
Nah, Gary, I know Gary. He's out of Houston. I just never have heard him Fly Swamper.
Yeah, he's Fly Swamper on YouTube. I watch his videos. I subscribe to. He had a question about transitioning to wheels for a foot launcher. The main things to learn and what for. So someone that's foot launching and wants to go to wheels, you know, as we get older and heavier.
Yeah. So you're getting older, your knees are getting bad, you don't like the weight anymore, stuff like that. I'm going to have to say, believe it or not, trike launching is a little more difficult than foot launching. The reason being is because if you're on your feet, you can step left, you can step right. If you're on trike, you cannot step left and step right. The wing has to come up nicer. So, Dave, I know you're laughing at me.
I have my different opinion, but that's cool.
That's cool. I'm seeing your reaction, but as an instructor and being teaching for a long time, it's way easier to teach somebody to foot launch than trike launch, because you have to have such a much better wing setup when you trike launch, because you can't step under it. You know, when you're on a foot, if you need to take 2 steps to the left to be under the wing, that's great. You can't just turn your steering wheel left on the trike and jump under it. You're gonna end up flipping it. You know, so the setup has to be perfect from the get-go. So a person that's going to transition from foot launch to trike, the main thing I'm going to be teaching them is wing setup, to where the wing is set up so perfect it's going to auto launch. You know, so that would be my answer to a question like that for transitioning, is going to be having a perfect wing setup, and we're going to be spending a lot of time setting the wing up and doing power ups and stuff like that.
David Wolf and I are the opposite. We transitioned from trike to foot launch, and shit was easy, wasn't it, David?
That may be why you probably see it easier. I haven't yet attempted my transition, but just watching, I'm always impressed by trikes. I just because I learned foot launch first, and so I completely agree with you. It's easier to just take a step where you need to go instead of having to think about, you know.
Well, and even when you're on foot, if your wing's off to one side on foot, usually once the wing starts creating lift, you're so light it can just kind of like drag you under the wing and off you go. With a trike, you have to be very careful when the wing comes up. A lot of people want to go full power, so you go full power to bring the wing up, but then immediately you want to back off to a walking speed, because if you leave it at full power and the wing's at 45 degrees, it's going to roll you. It's going to roll you. So if you don't come back off to a walking speed to where the wing's not creating lift, you know, and have time to pump it back over where it needs to go, or even steer under a little bit, things can go wrong in a trike pretty quick. And when they do, it's usually pretty catastrophic. You'll usually end up with a broken cage, a broken prop, maybe some scratches on your head. I mean, whatever. It's not as easy a failure on a trike launch as it is on foot. You know, on foot, you usually go down on your knees and wipe yourself off and try again. But a trike, usually you destroy it if you flip it.
I've seen more failed launches than on a trike than I have with foot launch.
Yeah. Setup is crucial. If your setup is right, then it's gonna look awesome.
So I have no place to argue with you. You're an instructor. You have far more experience than I do. But I will say this, in my experience, using a mirror, and I just recently did a video about this, and I've talked to a bunch of people about this, using a mirror where I can see the wing coming up behind me, and I can take my front wheel, and if it's coming off to the left, I just slightly turn it to the left. Yes, you're right. Setup is crucial. But if it's coming off to the left, I just turn my wheel a tiny bit to the left. I center myself right underneath that wing, and I'm taking off.
Well, that's a really good point. You use a mirror. Not every trike has a mirror. When you're foot launching, you can physically feel how the wing's coming up. You don't always have that privilege with the trike, so you can't necessarily feel it coming up. But with a mirror, you're able to kind of help predict where it's going to go, so you can help guide it.
I want to address.
Excuse me. Mirrors are for fixing your hair, and when you're flying the right kind of trike, you're in a harness, and you have input from the wing, so you feel it. Just like
Can you?
Well, I want to address what David said. And it's
like Dave.
For David right now, that's working for you, turning that wheel a little bit. But one thing I remember when you steer a trike with the front tire to go under the wing. So when you initially set up, you set the wing up, you pre-guided it, and you're dead into the wind, right? So if your wing does come because you're holding a little more A on one side than the other, or your A-line assist one side, and your wing comes up crooked. Now, if it does, and it's over to the left 30 degrees or whatever, and you turn your wheel a little bit to the left to come under the wing, you're no longer directly into the wind, and that alone can flip you. So, and that's why I was saying on foot, you can sidestep. You're still facing directly into the wind, but you sidestep. With a trike, you're actually turning the trike, and now you're pointing off wind, and you're doing a slightly crosswind launch. That can go wrong. It hasn't happened to you yet, but it can.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, you really shouldn't be taking off with those winds changing that rapidly. I mean, by the time you set up your glider and hook it up to your unit, you should be getting ready to launch within about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's not that the wind is changing, but if your wing inflates more to one side, you have to turn to get under it. That puts you crosswind. That puts you
right. That was my point, and that can be trouble. You can be crosswind if you have enough speed to have the wing solid, because it's just like when you come in and do a touch and go, you can almost do it in any direction. It doesn't matter, but on launch, you don't have the speed built up yet, and trying to be crosswind, if the wind picks up a little bit and blows your wing a little bit, you're flipped.
I think the most important thing here that's coming from the chat, most people are saying in the chat, is that foot launching is actually sexier than trike.
That's been proven. It's already been proven on my channel many times that trikes are sexier.
Yeah.
And I just muted David Wolf. I'm the host. Good times. Good times.
Oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying this.
All right. Who else? What else do we got for questions here? Let's see.
I'm going to spin that wheel there for that prize there.
Oh, is it time to spin the wheel?
Well, it's I have 9:23. We're getting close to the end of the show.
Oh, wow. That time has just flown by.
It has.
What time are we off of here?
Well, we usually wrap the show up in about 7 minutes, and then there's an after show. You're welcome to stay on as long as you'd like, and some people will join in. Rick will go ahead and put the code for Zoom in at that point.
Hey, can I give away some stuff?
I'll tell you what, Kyle, I would love for you to give away some stuff. If you wouldn't mind, tell us what prizes, and we can make that the prize for next week. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. What would you like to give away?
Free
training this week only.
I have a shelf full of like PPG smoke stuff. So I mean, if anybody wants a smoke machine, some floats, lamels, chase cams. I mean, I got plenty of stuff like that we can give away if anybody wants it.
I'll tell you what. Well, you and I will connect, and whatever you'd like to give away, we'll just add that week by week, and we'll let everybody know where it came from. How's that sound?
Cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that, tell me in the chat, does that sound good?
Kyle, it's pretty easy. All I got to do is sign a Cheeto bag.
What?
It can even be empty. I just tell him that all he has to do is sign a Cheeto bag, and it can even be empty.
Yeah, we did a live show from the Florida Fun Fest. That was Kate's first time with us, and he signed a Cheeto bag, an empty Cheeto bag, and stuck stickers in it and gave it away. And everybody.
That's right. And The winner sent us a picture saying how happy he was that he had the Cheeto bag.
Yeah, David Wolford.
He's gonna keep it. like, at what point do you throw it away?
I don't know. I mean, you signed it.
I
Gotta
would
be
throw it
something.
immediately after finishing the goods on the inside. So
I'm gonna go ahead and share this screen here in just a second, Mr. Gorilla,
All right.
and then you can tell me when to spin the wheel. We have all these names here. Say when, sir.
All right, go ahead and let it spin.
This is for a Pura Orange Reserve Simulator. Larry and the Bag Lady. Here we go. One spin and one spin. Only tonight. The winner. You don't see it.
Oh, no, I see it.
now I see it.
The winner is Chuck Johnston. Congratulations, Chuck Johnston. All right. So I'm going to say this one time. Now, I'll probably have to say this every week. From now on, some people don't claim their prizes. And if you don't claim your prize, you lose it. So, Chuck Johnston, you have till 7 o'clock next week, right before the show starts. You have a week to claim this prize. If you don't claim the prize, it goes back into the prize box for another week down the road, and someone else will get a chance. So you have to go to ourparamotornation.com, go to the very bottom, fill out the form, and that'll be emailed to me. I'll have your information, forward that over to Pura Orange, and they will go ahead and send out your practice simulator reserve. Great prize, valued at $62, I believe is what Pura Orange sells it for, and it's worth every penny. It'll save your life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Chuck, if you don't use it, donate it to your local paramotor school, and I'm sure that they will. So next week, someone's going to get a product from Kyle Matula. Is that right? Everybody that was in the chat tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And we'll announce what that is on next week's show.
Yep. I don't know if I saw Chuck's name in the chat tonight, so hopefully he's there. I don't see his name coming up right now, but hopefully he'll watch it. And if he does, then he can claim it. If not, someone else.
If anybody knows Chuck, reach out to him, send him a text or email, and let him know to come and claim his prize.
Yeah.
Guys, tune in next week on our Paramotor Trike Flyer. Dave Ruff is going to have a special guest, Tom Kabat. YouTube sensation, Tom Kabat.
YouTube super sensation, Tom.
Super
Kabat.
sensation, Tom Kabat.
Yeah.
And, I haven't seen him in the chat tonight, but that's all right. We'll let him slide. I know he's a busy guy. He's putting out tons of videos and great content.
Of videos. Tons of videos.
Yes.
Oh, Ripman says he is here. Chuck, you there? There he is, Chuck Johnson. I'm here. All right, Chuck. Cool.
That's Chuck.
Sweet. Good. So, Chuck, just go ahead and fill out the form and get that information. We'll get it over to you there. Good, 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 good. Yes, Tom will be here. Tom just put out a video, I believe today it was. I saw it. Yeah, he was flying a streamer that came from Kate's place of business, Aviator. So there you go.
I told him when I sent that to him, I was like, you're gonna have so much fun packing this back into its little bag. And he sent me a message after he opened it up and he was like, well, crap.
Is it that difficult? Because I really would love to fly.
They are nearly impossible. It took me almost an hour.
Really?
Because it's like I had it in my hands and it's like a silky material. So it just like kind of fumbles and it's really long. So
100 meters. Yeah.
So you sit there and you're like trying to roll it up, and then the first time you do it, it ends up being bigger than the bag that it came in, so you have to redo it again.
Wow.
It's not a fun time.
Have you done anything like that? Have you flown anything like that, or are you just? I like to fly, just fly. Have you ever done any beginner toes or anything like that, or?
For like streamers and stuff?
Yeah.
No, I never have done any of that.
All right.
In Galveston, we go down there. Those guys have had some, and it's just kind of like a ring. No matter when they drop it, it lands with the ring up. So when they come into a foot drag, they just grab it with their foot, and one person takes it, and they drop it, and somebody else gets it. But I never was tempted to go grab it. I don't know. I feel like I would have messed something up.
Cool. All right. So if everything works itself out, the next time someone can see you outside of your school is going to be Endless Foot Drag. Is that correct?
Yeah, if everything works out, that'll be the next place I'm at.
Awesome. And I know John Ripman Ryden had put a link earlier in the chat. So if you have any information or have any additional questions that you'd like Kyle to answer or to do training with Kyle Matula, you can go ahead and reach out to him there.
Oh yeah, anybody can friend me on Facebook and talk to me on Messenger anything like that. So I'm always available. I love talking to
We're
everybody.
not friends on Facebook.
Kyle will answer questions. He's a good guy. Good people.
There's David Wolford. David Wolford just got into the chat. He's the one that won Kate's Cheetos bag. There you go.
Now I can actually ask David, what are you going to do with the Cheetos bag? When are you going to throw it away? Can I have it back?
I heard he was having it professionally framed.
I'm running out of ideas for Christmas presents, and I figured I could just send that back out. So if you're going to get rid of it, just send it back to me, okay? Thanks.
Very cool. Oh, guys, what a great show, man. I'd like to thank you, Kyle, for coming along with us tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and post the code for the after show in the chat right now. So anybody wants to join us, come on in. Kate Bowen, thank you for coming in tonight and helping us moderate and ask questions and showing us your smiling face. David Wolf, as always, thank you, my friend.
You rock my world.
Guys, everybody, take care of one another. Watch out for each other. Try to help out your friends and neighbors, and
support the vets.
Vets and resurgence. All right.
Very good. All right, guys. So I put the code in the chat. I think. Do you see it, David?
Yep, you're all set. We're all live. We're done.
All right. All right. Now I just got to end the stream on YouTube. All right, guys. David, I end the stream on YouTube, but not on Zoom, right?
Correct. Top left corner of
Thanks
this.
for having on.
No, on the YouTube. On the YouTube, you want to hit stop.
Got it. All right. Love you guys. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, guys.
Hey, man, I enjoyed all you guys. Y'all have a good night.
See you in the after show.
Bye.